Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us all today. My name is Lisa Making, and I'm the Executive Director of the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the Royal Tyrrell Museum sits on the ancestral and traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and Stoney Nakoda First Nation, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes on the Treaty 7 land. Our work takes place throughout the province that is known as Alberta. We gratefully recognize and honor Indigenous peoples' long-standing connections to these lands. I'm joined today by the Honourable Nate Horner, President of Treasury Board and Minister of Finance and MLA for Drumheller-Stettler, as well as Dr. Craig Scott, Director of Preservation and Research with the Royal Tyrrell Museum. To kick us off this morning, please join me in welcoming the Honourable Nate Horner, President of Treasury Board and Minister of Finance.
Good morning, and thank you, Lisa. On behalf of Minister Furr, I'm excited to welcome you to the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology today to open its latest exhibit. I'm thrilled to be here and see so many familiar faces. It's nice to see you, Mayor Colberg and other councillors. The Royal Tyrrell plays a pivotal role in telling Alberta's stories, such as the fascinating story of our paleontological history and Alberta's unique fossil heritage. The land and building where we stand right now has cemented our province's reputation as one of the leading sites for paleontological history in the world. The Royal Tyrrell Museum is one of Canada's largest museums with some of the best exhibits across the country. It's also one of the leading paleontological research centres across the globe. I think I speak for all Albertans when I say I'm immensely proud of this museum. It is a place where many Albertans have experienced their first awestruck moment under the massive dinosaur fossil displays, and I'm excited to say there's even more to marvel at now. The First Life exhibit will fill the Royal Tyrrell Museum's newly redeveloped 1,750 square foot gallery and create exciting new things for Albertans to discover. As one of Canada's most visited museums, the renovations modernize the experience for both first-time and returning visitors. In this exhibit, visitors will be able to view some of the oldest known fossils, including the earliest evidence of life in Alberta. First Life helps tell Alberta's unique and fascinating story through new videos, illustrations, models, and hands-on activities. The new exhibit fills a critical gap about the earliest life forms in Alberta with amazing fossils, new research, and a stunning new gallery. Since opening its doors in 1985, the Royal Tyrrell Museum continually strives to provide the best experience for all its visitors. Alberta's government has continued to invest in the museum's efforts to keep that experience accessible, educational, and exciting. From its multi-million-dollar expansion in 2019 to today's renovated gallery and exhibit, through our government's investment in heritage, we create world-class learning opportunities and entertaining experiences right here at home to preserve our heritage and tell Alberta's stories. The Royal Tyrrell Museum provides a unique and valuable experience to all people that come to visit, such as the over 500,000 visitors who came through the museum gates last year, generating about $6.3 million in admission revenue. And this new exhibit will attract even more visitors, boosting the economy in southern Alberta and the Canadian Badlands for decades to come. I would like to thank the team from the Royal Tyrrell Museum for their amazing work on bringing this new exhibit to life. I would also like to acknowledge the works of Parks Canada, the Royal Ontario Museum, and Research Casting International for allowing the museum to include these rare fossils in the new exhibit. I encourage all Albertans to take the opportunity to check out the exhibit and experience this wonderful museum right here in our province. I would now like to invite Lisa Making, Executive Director of the Royal Tyrrell Museum, to share additional details on the upgrades and exhibit. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Horner, and thank you for the Government of Alberta's ongoing support of the museum as we work to inspire a lifelong passion of science and appreciation of natural history. We often say it takes a village to raise a child, But when you work in a museum, it pretty much takes a whole organization to create an exhibit. While levels of involvement varied, most staff were involved in the development of First Life. So let me start by saying thank you to each and every one of you for your hard work and commitment. With every project we embark on, I'm always in awe of the passion and skills you choose to share with us. Almost 40 years ago, the doors of the Royal Tyrrell Museum opened to the world. Since then, over 15.5 million visitors from 150 countries have explored our galleries. This has helped generate more than $70 million in tourism-based revenue for the Drumheller Valley in 2021 alone. The work we do captures the imagination of so many individuals, regardless of age or background. We work hard to fulfill our mandate to collect, preserve, protect, present, and interpret Alberta's rich fossil heritage, and our efforts are recognized and celebrated internationally. As our research continues to expand our knowledge of the province's paleontological past, we've sought to update many of our exhibits to reflect those changes. First Life is the most recent example of our efforts to keep our exhibits current and add even more wonder and excitement to our visitors' experience. Working in collaboration with external researchers through the support of the Royal Tyrrell Museum Cooperating Society, and augmenting our collection with the specimens from Parks Canada, the Royal Ontario Museum, and the Research Casting International, we've created an exhibit that celebrates the curious creatures that are among the earliest forms of life on Earth. To learn more about the science behind this exhibit, I'd like to invite Dr. Craig Scott, the Director of Preservation and Research with the museum, to say a few words.
Thank you, Lisa, and good morning, everyone. The late paleontologist and historian of biology Stephen Jay Gould remarked in his 1989 book, Wonderful Life, quote, "The animals of the Burgess Shale are holy objects in the unconventional sense that this word conveys in some cultures. We do not place them on pedestals and worship from afar. We climb mountains and dynamite hillsides to find them. We quarry them, split them, carve them, draw them and dissect them, struggling to wrest their secrets. We vilify and curse them for their damnable intransigence. They are grubby little creatures of a seafloor 530 million years old, but we greet them with awe because they are the old ones and they are trying to tell us something." And indeed, as First Life explores the organisms that first populated the planet hundreds upon hundreds of millions of years ago have stories to tell. The journey through time at the Tyrrell Museum begins with First Life. It provides the foundation for understanding the early evolution of life on Earth and, importantly, conveys the vast amount of time it took for this to happen. So for some context, the time of the first appearance of the dinosaurs, 238 million years ago. The time of the first appearance of primates, 66 million years ago. The time of the first appearance of Homo sapiens, 300,000 years ago. So the time between the first evidence of life at about 3.7 billion years ago to the Cambrian explosion at about 540 million years ago is about 3.2 billion years. That's 6 times the length of time from the Cambrian explosion to today, and a whopping 50 times the length of time from the extinction of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago to today. So let that sink in. First Life explores this vast period of time, and although these are glimpses, they are scientifically crucial. The exhibit showcases the earliest direct evidence for life in the form of stromatolites, the earliest dated at an astonishing 3.5 billion years. The Waterton Lakes National Park specimens included in this exhibit are dated at about 1.3 billion years and constitute the oldest evidence of life in Alberta. It details the earliest evidence of macroscopic life in the form of Ediacaran biotas from about 635 to 539 million years, and of the earliest body plans of multicellular organisms. These organisms lived millions of years before the more famous Cambrian biotas, suggesting that a far more complex level of evolution had been achieved during the Precambrian time than we had once thought. It details the Cambrian explosion beginning at about 539 million years, through remarkable, never-seen-before fossils from the famous Burgess Shale locality, showcasing a sampling of the amazing array of body plans that might only be imagined in your wildest dreams, or your nightmares, depending on your phobias. The Cambrian marks the first appearance of most of the major groups of animals that we recognize today, as well as a bewildering number of groups that went extinct. And the exhibit contextualizes these strange organisms by providing the most contemporary interpretations of not only what these archaic creatures look like, but also how they might have lived and interacted, both with each other and with their environment. I began with a quote from Gould, and it seems appropriate to end with one from the same book. Life, with all its complexities and uncertainties, is truly a wonderful thing. So please enjoy this beautiful exhibit and learn what the old ones are telling us. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Now, this concludes the formal portion of our event this morning, so thank you, Minister Horner and Dr. Scott, and all of you for joining us today. I will now pass it over to Garrett Kohler, Press Secretary for the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Status of Women, to lead the media Q&A portion of the event. Thank you all and enjoy the day.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the floor first. Any questions from the floor? Entries after, okay. All right, we'll go to the on the line. Operator, please put through the first caller. Please state your name, outlet, and who you'd like to ask a question to.
Jonathan Bradley, Western Standard. Hello, my question is for Minister Horner. So, Minister Horner, you spoke about the Tyrrell being a world-class attraction showcasing the amazing history of the area. I was wondering, what do you love most about the Tyrrell?
Well, I was kind of a dinosaur kid myself. I was before I could read, I was trying to remember how to spell the names of the dinosaurs, and so I came by this honestly. But I know my kids love this place. I've heard it said to me many times that what a gem this facility is, and I don't think we give it enough credit. This is on the bucket list of many people across the world. So to have that kind of quality of a facility in our area, I'm just very, very grateful for it. But anyone that hasn't seen it should see it. It's incredible.
Mr. Bradley, do you have a follow-up?
Okay. And my follow-up pertains to making people aware about this exhibit. So now that it's launched, obviously you want people to see it. What will the Alberta government do to tell people about the opening?
Well, I can't speak for Minister Furr's team, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of comms on this. I know we're excited to take the tour with everyone that's present here today, and I'm sure there'll be a substantial rollout. But you know, this really is the gem of the museums within the province. So we always try to highlight it, and a lot of museums have problems attracting the kind of attendance that Tyrrell does. So you have to treat your gems well and make sure you advertise and communicate all that they have to offer.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no one else on the line, that wraps up our formal portion. Let's have one big round of applause for the great new opening of the exhibit.